Oh, goodness, yes, that's what I wanted to say. The loveliness of God hasn't struck their consciousness within. That's what the kingdom of heaven is within you, is about. Your real joy and peace, in fact, your whole being and life, is understood as and experienced as and is eternally in how it's affecting your thoughts and your sensitivity, your feelings within, your emotions. They are the truer evidence of your life than even what you're doing and saying, although what you're doing and saying is heavily being determined by that and your intelligence in the performance of that which you choose to do. But the life is within. It's within this mind of yours. I don't think it is actually the mind. It's something deeper, and I think of it in terms of your values and somehow their great desire to be expressed outwardly in what you then do. And that ever overrides the circumstance you're in and causes you to steer it in the direction that you value. But the reality of life is not your doing, not what you've done, what is made, is not the physical, is not even the words that you're saying, but within, somewhere under what you're thinking and what's driving what you're thinking, which we think of as being your values. It's all thought, in a sense. I mean, you can't experience anything except it be translated into thought, and you then wrestle with it in your mind. Yes, you're active there, but it's something to do with your being, and that's even more elusive than your thoughts, even less tangible. Elusive in that, like I've said with the notion of dimensions, things keep cropping up in the world you're conscious of, but it's because your being is actually operating in far more dimensions than the ones that we, space and time that we're alive to, conscious of. And we wonder why things crop in and crop out, and why was I dreaming of that last night, and why did I think of this, why is my mind locked in being so depressed? I know what I'm depressed about, and it's as if we're victim of not seeing the fullness of our being in the dimensions that it's truly in. And so, quarks or what have you crop up here, and then suddenly they crop up over there, and you think, well, they seem to be related, but there's obviously no physical or force relating between the two, so what's going on here? And you've got some theory of, quantum physics or something, and of course, the theory is, as of a child dreaming, he's trying to handle what he sees that he can't explain. And if he really despairs, of course, he says, these are chance things. It's the consequence of chance, it's actually random. So there's no point looking any further. In other words, I give up. If it is causal, it's far too complicated to ever unravel, and I don't think it is, actually. And the more I don't think it is, the less I look, of course, for any causal understanding. And you've abandoned science to the history books now, and your science has fossilized. The life has gone out of it. You've died. You know, in the beginning we couldn't understand the weather, so it's just random, so it's an act of the gods. Perhaps praying to the gods affects the weather. Let's try sacrificing our enemies, that might help. And you just think, hang on, this is cuckoo. Why did they do that? Why did that seem reasonable? Yeah, I mean, we're arrogant, aren't we? We're always arrogant. As I've said, it's because we've no comprehension of that which we've no comprehension of. And that which we have, we're so sure that it's helpful that we become so arrogant about us knowing the truth of things. And the whole ambit of truth is that which we know, which of course is not realizing your poverty at all. Perhaps thank God, but you know, well, yes, definitely thank God, come to think of it. Because if we were doing these things that we do consciously, knowing the conscious costs of such to our parents, we wouldn't do it. But we neither know such nor our parents. So we do. And our parents in loving kindness still love us. Why? Because they've chosen to make us important in their life and to bring us to maturity if they possibly can. Well, God can, possibly. God can. It's the hope. And if you love, how much more does he love? How lovely. And that's an explanation that I find most attractive. And I'm backing that. In uncertainty, I choose the best as I see it. Don't we all? I can change my view of the uncertain and of the things I don't know by attending to all that's good and lovely instead of all that's bad and wrong. And my life develops accordingly. It's the experience that I have. And you can have too. And probably have at times in your life when you've fallen in love and you've ascribed an absolutely fairy-like, angelic personality to the person that you're engaging with. The world has started to sing to you. All happiness and blessing and goodness and joy and peace and hope and life and kindness and good intention has flooded through you. Choose you this day whom you will love. What happens when you have this relationship with that which you imagine to be the absolute personification of your values? Always, whether you've met a person that embodies such or not, you still start relating to the possibility of such. Have you any idea how that affects your future? Taste and see. Choose you this day whom you will serve. And I don't mean serve. I rewrote that in my mind. Choose you this day whom you will love. Choose that one to be the personification of what you truly value at heart. You value life, your life especially. Right, he'd better love you especially. And it's he, she, or it, whatever you truly value at heart too. Divine Mother if you're Paramahansa Yogananda. Heavenly Father if you're Merlin Crothers. Or he may have been attributing it all to Jesus as God himself. I don't know, I'm not sure, I can't remember now. I haven't read the book for years. I distilled from it what I found to be tremendous value to me. And that's what I was supposed to do, of course. Thank you very much, Merlin. Yes. Gosh, you see, when I'm on a roll, I mean, I've just been dictating for 10.5 minutes. I can't believe the time passes that quickly. Even time itself seems to change when you're in love. Well, it does. The hours can just pass by. I mean, if you're of a very worldly nature and so forth, just making love. Are they making love for hours? Won't they exhaust themselves? If you're of a more subtly divine nature, it might be just being in the company of. And the hours fly by because they're all perfect. Why? She's as much flesh and blood as you are. Self and misunderstanding and ignorance and as the Buddhists would say, spit and bile and urine and pus and God, they got a horrific religion, You'd be amazed what some of the Buddhists meditate on. It's to make you unattached. Oh, I don't want to be attached. I want to love her to bits. Yeah, I can understand that. Apparently the Buddhist doesn't want to. It's a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, Buddhism's trying to solve things without God. You'll have a job to do that. And the secular world's been trying to do that for years. Or millennium, actually. It doesn't work. You can't solve it without God. And you want the right God too. And the God you choose to begin with won't be as right as you hoped, of course. But he'll soon show you where you need to spruce up your view and get it more accurate. And our trust is, why trust in anything else? Our trust is that we will move towards the same God because, well, life has the same needs for life, the priority of life. So we can understand each other. And in that sense be in fellowship and communion with each other. And such brings incredible joy. Heaven on earth. I have a philosophical group that is, they're nice, ordinary people, retired school teachers and goodness knows what else, like myself. And they're going to talk next week about how we should change society and well, I suppose how we could bring such about. Well, man's been trying to do that for, yes, millennium. Doesn't work without God, and it works with the wrong. It doesn't work with the wrong God either. It's our view of God that's gone wrong, that's leading us the wrong way. Whether our God is materialism or one of the major fossilized religions, it doesn't do it. It can't. It's our relationship with God that's everything, our maker, our assumed maker, our surmised maker, and his surmised perfection. As we see him more and more right, more and more accurately, well, we are changing accordingly. That's why we see it. You are becoming what you are. Ever becoming. Choose you this day whom you will love and devote yourself to, and be transformed accordingly into fullness of life, life eternal. Bless you. Thank you, Dad.